Welcome to the California Electric School Bus Working Group June meeting. Our focus today is workforce development. I do have a couple quick updates before we get started. Because this working group is targeted towards school districts in California, we will not have a working group meeting in July or August. However, we will reconvene the first Wednesday in September at our usual time, 11 a.m. And so we will send out outreach in advance of that meeting, but just as a heads up, we will not have meetings over the summertime. Okay, so I think everyone here is familiar with Jared and Juan and myself. However, our team is growing and we have a new team member on staff that I wanted to introduce very quickly. Her name is Liza Walsh and she's our bus team intern. She's here to support the working group as well, and we're very excited to have her on our team. So welcome, Liza. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. I will be giving a very brief update on the HVIP public school bus set aside. We have a brief presentation from Al Beatty, who is a CalSTART employee, in regards to the Clean Mobility in Schools project. Juan will be giving a quick presentation on the electric school bus evaluation project through South Coast Air Quality. And then we have Yvette Ellis here from Charger Health, Rudy LaFleur from Sunline Transit Agency to present on their subject matter experts in workforce development. So they're here to present on workforce development and what they can offer school districts. So after that, we will end the recording and have a Q&A open discussion session, as well as closing comments. I wanted to give an update on the public school bus set aside for small and medium air districts. So that funding opportunity through HVIP has a 90-day application window, or initial application window anyways. And that initial application window will be coming to a close on June 28th, later this month. So if you haven't already applied, I would highly encourage you to do so. If you have any questions about this funding opportunity, you can always reach out to us at schoolbusteam@calstart.org, and we're happy to help you in any way possible. We have received a large number of applications for this funding opportunity. However, the applicants are prioritized based on location, size of air district, whether they are or are not located in a disadvantaged community. So it's not too late. If you want to apply, you have until the, well, not till the end of the month. You have till June 28th to do so. So please reach out if you have any questions. There's the potential that the application period could go past June 28th. However, I don't foresee that happening. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up that that does close on June 28th. I will hand it over to my colleague, Al Beatty, to give a brief presentation on the Clean Mobility in Schools project.
Sure, thanks, Michelle. And I'd just like to add that I'm co-presenting with Elise Crippen from our validation and assessment team, who's been overseeing our Clean Mobility in Schools pilot project in San Diego. So my name's Al. I'm the program manager for CalSTART's Innovative Mobility Initiative. For those not familiar with the initiative, we focus on emerging transportation modes and models such as shared services and micromobility. But we see ourselves as a really close cousin to our bus electrification work because we're really trying to diversify the portfolio of options for people who want to get around without causing pollution and greenhouse gas emissions, and do that in a way that supports transit and supports bus electrification as well. So we wanted to talk to you a little bit today about a project sponsored by the California Air Resources Board called Clean Mobility in Schools. This is currently a pilot program with, I believe, 3 different projects throughout the state, really providing wraparound services to school districts, including bus electrification, but additionally things like micromobility, e-bike libraries for students, really trying to build, again, that portfolio of different ways to get around, address gaps in student reach, maybe students who are close enough to the school to get there without a bus, but a little too far, or maybe it's an unsafe walk and need some kind of other support. And Elise will be sharing a little bit today about our project that we're involved in San Diego. I do want to emphasize that this program from CARB is not a one-size-fits-all approach. So consider today's presentation as sort of example of what this could look like. The reason we wanted to share it with you today is that it is looking likely that more funding will be coming soon to expand this initial pilot project. Information about that is not finalized yet, but there is a public work group meeting coming up on June 9th. I'm going to drop the link in chat to register for that, but if you think your district may be interested in zero emission transportation options for students beyond and including school bus electrification, and if you're interested in the modes and strategies that Elise shares with you today, I do encourage you to sign up for that work group meeting. And I would just add, check the agenda beforehand because it's quite a long meeting about a few different programs, and you'll probably want to attend the CMIS portion specifically. So with that, I will be dropping a couple of links as well as my contact information in chat, and I actually do have to hop off, but I'll turn it over to Elise.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Elise Crippen. Thank you, Al, for that introduction. As Al said, we're going to be talking about our San Diego Clean Mobility in Schools pilot project specifically today. So this is one of 3 pilot projects like this in the state funded by CARB's cap and trade dollars. And the main mission of these Clean Mobility in Schools programs is to provide zero emission mobility within the schools and let that outstretch into the surrounding communities. So you could see here we have 3 different projects that have been awarded, El Monte, Stockton, and San Diego that we're talking about today. So the main goals are to not only establish electric buses with the school district, but really to create what we're calling a clean mobility hub. And like Al said, the goal of this clean mobility hub is to provide a multitude of options for students and staff and the community to commute in between the school, but also deploy a mix of other technologies to provide examples of these new zero emission technologies for the school and the community. This project also has a big focus on outreach and education in the community. And so we have a lot of different project partners just on the San Diego project, which their sole purpose is to get out into the community and talk more about mobility options and access to school and access to other mobility options. And then we're also trying to decrease emissions in disadvantaged communities. So while again, this is focused on the school district and it's focused around one particular high school, this whole project benefits will stretch out into the surrounding community. So this project has a whole suite of different vehicles and technologies. San Diego has been able to purchase with this grant 3 Bluebird buses, 10 IC buses, corresponding chargers, DC fast chargers, battery storage, but then we also have, in addition to those buses and infrastructure, we have an e-bike lending library, which is really a pioneering project. It's really the first of its kind, where we will be loaning bikes to staff and students to provide them a different way to get in between school and around their community. And then we're also, through this grant, providing landscaping and custodial equipment. We're talking over 90 pieces of equipment between golf carts and mowers, vacuums, sweepers, all kinds of pieces of equipment. And then we're also deploying a passenger car that the school can share, a 10-passenger van, a food truck, a which is a food delivery truck and a food preparation truck, and then one big outreach vehicle van that can be multi-purpose and used for a bunch of different things. So again, this project is unique in that it has all of these different types of technologies and equipment that we're able to start to use within this district to test this equipment, and also start getting this technology within the school and within the community. So for the San Diego Unified School District, this mobility hub is centered around their Lincoln High School cluster. The district has, I believe, 16 clusters. And so this primarily affects Lincoln High School and the 12 other elementary and middle schools that funnel into the high school. It's also aiding the district in their own net zero energy goals for 2030. And again, like we've been saying, it's really developing ownership and accountability for the students, the staff, and the surrounding community. So as I mentioned earlier, there is a huge emphasis on outreach and education with this project. We have numerous partners that have been creating safe routes to schools maps, that have been helping with initiating that e-bike share program. They've also been working in the community to present about the project, but also increase awareness about what it means to have access to other transportation options, what it means to have a safe way to get in between school, and what it means to have a safe way to commute around your community. We also have a technical advisory committee that is really made up of not only our partners, but also our community, so that all voices are heard as we continue throughout this project. And there's our partners. So we have CalSTART, we're working with Nuvi on the infrastructure. We're working with all of our different outreach partners like Circulate San Diego and Center for Sustainable Energy. And so this project has really been a very cool opportunity for the community to come together and create this clean mobility hub that hopefully we can implement in other communities and other schools. So thank you.
Okay, Juan is giving a quick update on an opportunity through South Coast Air Quality Management District.
Thank you, Michelle. Yes, so CalSTART's been working with the South Coast Air Quality Management District. We've been coordinating with them to work one-on-one with school districts in order to promote this electric school bus evaluation project. The purpose of this project is to encourage the broader deployment of electric school buses. So in order to do that, CalSTART and South Coast Air Quality Management District need school districts like yourself, and we would like to install data loggers on your electric school bus fleets in order to collect telematics information. So in return, CalSTART will provide custom performance reports, as well as help you monetize your LCFS credits. Additionally, you will receive assistance with route optimization and assistance in planning for future electric school buses. The best thing about this program that it's entirely free to you. And yeah, we're still in the process of looking for school districts to participate in this program. So if you are a school district that's currently in Los Angeles County or Orange County, please reach out to me. I would love to touch base with you and work with you one-on-one. Thank you.
Moving on, we have Yvette Ellis from Charger Help here to present today.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I'm Yvette Ellis. I am co-founder and chief workforce officer here at Charger Help. And we are a technology empowered solution. That's what we have created to maintain EV charging stations. And just before I get into the workforce development piece, just wanted to share a little bit about what Charger Help does so you can kind of get our angle. We fix broken EV charging stations, to put it nicely. The slogan sounds really good, but what we really do is we fix broken EV charging stations. We do that, we do that by technology that we built. Our technicians are empowered by the technology and enabled, and they get work orders, they go out. We're in 11 states. We'll be in all 50 by the end of the year. So very robust operation. So it's where technology and field service meets. This is just a little where we are right now. Car OEMs, it's a $500 billion+ investment in EVs that rely on the infrastructure. So as you all know, the infrastructure bill is here, and all this money is bringing in, and folks are installing charging stations, and districts are getting buses, and electrification is happening. What Charger Help focuses on is the O&M, the operation and maintenance, right? Making sure that the charging stations are up and running, because that's going to be a huge, oh my gosh, we got everything together, and when it breaks, what do we do? What is the plan? So that's what Charger Help is here for. We are the O&M. We do not install. That is an electrician's job. We do not install, but we have worked to build out what an O&M position, the EVSE technician is. We've worked with the Department of Labor to define that. We have an ONET code. So it's a legitimized position. It's not something my co-founder Camille and I just made up, and now we're just on LinkedIn saying this is the position. No, this is the position. Our techs start off at $30 an hour. They are trained in every manufacturer, in every network provider to fix that asset. And we are one of the only companies to do it right now that's fully trained by not only the provider, but also we have the foundational training about generally what is the EV ecosystem. Just really quick, these are some pictures of things that we see with charging station. If you see, that's a wasp nest at the bottom. Right there, you see the connector is cut, and you see the sign that says our apologies. These are all charging machines that on the public sharing apps, they are available. Okay, available, go here, and then you show up, and this is what you have, and you have like 2% of your battery left, and you got 50 miles to go, right? So these are the things that we're trying to do. Now, this particular call has school districts and buses. So the same urgency that you would have with your kids in the backseat pulling up to a charger and it's not working is the same kind of urgency you're gonna have when that bus route has to get going. We have this electric bus and the charger's not working, which is very, very likely because it's a computer inside of that nice, pretty box. It's a computer. And just like we have the Geek Squad at Best Buy, you have Charger Help to help fix those things. Our EVSE technicians, some people will even have their own technicians that they'll train, which I imagine a lot of school districts may even ponder, you know, what when it comes to O&M, if they will have a hired partner like Charger Help, or if they're going to invest in building their own. More difficult route for right now, but that is an option as well. Okay, EV charging stations are down 30% of the time, just so you know, 30% of the time it goes down, and you can break that down to how many you have, and if you only have one, that's really not good, right? Keep going. Next one, please. I'm trying to get to the workforce development. Yes, and we've arrived. Okay. So what to expect with the workforce training segments? What do we expect? What do we need to do? There'll be pretty much 3 core things that you'll be looking at if you are moving into electrification. And that's training, cross-training, and up-training, okay? Training is like, you are initially training this person has never seen anything. And some school districts will probably take this route. Brand new, you know, group of folks, and they're fresh out of some kind of EV program, and they're super green, and that is training, right? Cross training is when you train for someone to be proficient in something different, okay? So that's your current staff that you have, that you're like, no, we're gonna train you on something else. Because just because we have electric buses don't mean our regular buses still aren't working, and some people will flow in between. And I like to, and then the last one is up training, and this is just adding additional skills, and that's just continuing growth. I like to pause right here because what I want to say here is with the electrification of fleet and buses, what you will find is that there will be a shortage of people. So the work towards building up your workforce is now, even though your charging station, all your buses may not be in the ground and ready to go yet, the building up the workforce, figuring out how are you going to maintain it is as important as getting it in the ground. Okay, because once it's in the ground, once it's installed, it's going to be peace out, and it's going to be you and your team, and you have to figure out how you want to go about that. So right now, people are exploring different ways. So there is no set way, but just, I would say, be prepared to train some folks, to cross-train some folks, and then for some people, up-train. Some of the jobs that you will see, and I don't have a slide with this on it, but some of the jobs that you will see become very, very popular, where it might be training our new hires that you may look into, is project management, logistics, technicians, and sales. You'll see all those things pop up depending on what part of the puzzle you are in. Those will become very, very popular jobs. Project management, logistics, technicians, and salespeople, believe it or not. And I would say a hard 5 to come in at the last is probably community engagement folks, right? Folks that really get the community involved with what's going on. I think a misconception that a lot of folks have about the workforce for the green space is that it is this totally different workforce, and it is not. Most of the time, and I emphasize and encourage people to really think about this. People are going to like, oh, we want to replace people. Well, that's just going to create a bigger problem of having other people that don't have jobs, right? So in some instances, you are early enough in the game that you can cross-train, that you can hire on an O&M provider, and not just because I'm an O&M provider, but I am an O&M provider, right? But these are some things that you can put in place in order not to just completely dismantle your total team. So I would say think long and hard about that, because while this is presenting new jobs, they aren't necessarily new jobs that people can't transfer into it. You'll see people come in entry level. You'll see some people with a lot of transferable skills. I would say a nice 80% of our technician team transferred over from gas and oil. And why, someone may say, why was gas and oil so attractive to an EV maintenance company? Because their safety is out of this world. And we learned that safety was huge. A compliment to have in a technician. So you'll start recognizing what are things that we already have that we can build off of. So you'll see entry level folks, you'll see transferable skills, and then you'll see some folks come in with mastery, right? People that can come in and they can just create a whole department, or they can fix any charging machine. You will have people come in like that too. I also put in my notes here to get accustomed to changes as we move our workforce into the green space. There is no like downright, this is the right answer, right? We will be trying different things. We will be seeing what is working. The infrastructure is not all the way in the ground. It has to get in the ground. Then we have to get it up and running. So I would say start preparing your workforce, your current workforce, and the workforce that's coming in. Start to prepare them for being flexible and agile and open to the changes that the green space may bring to the workplace. And I think that's another thing. It's this brand new industry that's kind of coming into a very maybe traditional, set, solid part of the school district. Here's this brand new industry. You have some folks that's been working there 20 plus years, and this can be very scary. So I also say, like, really, really get the language around how you want to introduce these new workforce requirements for some, options for others. I find introducing it to people as where we are going versus this whole other world of green space workforce versus who I am and where I currently land in the organization. So I like to say that because I think sometimes in the green world, we jump off, and then the folks that aren't there yet, I felt really left out and did not even know where I fit into the equation. So I just like to throw that in there. That's not a slide. That's just, evetology, what I like to share with people. These are some of our customers. And I'm not showing you this just to toot our own horn, which it is pretty impressive, I will say. So if I don't say so myself, we are quite excited about these folks. But what I want you to know is that what you are experiencing in the school bus world are the same things that all of these customers are solving for, right? So really, really making sure that whoever you're partnering with, whoever you are partnering with is the best one. And whoever you're partnering with also has strong relations to the manufacturers and the network providers to ensure that your district and your team is getting the best information there is out there. I'm really, really happy that my technicians are trained on all of these different providers, which makes it really easy for our customers to get warranties for their machines with us, because we are trained individually, which this takes quite a while to get that. And a lot of the training was not available. We really, really spent a nice year working our techs into getting this training to ensure that we're able to support the industry, and our customers that do partner with us, we're able to truly support them, because it's not really a charging station that you're probably going to have that we haven't seen, or that hasn't been white labeled by some of the customers that we have here. So that's why I'm showing you this, to make sure that you have in mind that as you go forward with your workforce development plan, that you're partnering with folks that actually have a pulse in relationship with your manufacturers and your network providers, because that's going to be extremely important. Okay, so good business, good service, good people. I love that we just say that at the end. But what I want to do is I'm pretty much done. And the only other thing that I really, really want to impart to you is the urgency, and I'm probably repeating myself, the urgency around having the correct workforce trained up. That may take a special task team for you to start really working with people. That may take some consulting to figure out who you want to move, timelines that match the electrification plan that your district may already have in place. But what you don't want to do is play with the workforce. You don't want to get to a point where you have these huge, beautiful buses, you have these brand new charging machines, you don't have O&M, or you think you may have a warranty, but really you only have a parts warranty, you don't have a service warranty. So all of those things, Charger Help is available to help you walk through if it's something that you're really interested in. Of course, I'm talking with a sales lens, but most of all, we want people to know that there's really, really inexpensive warranties for your charger machines, with really, really quick SLAs that we can get a tech out to fix your machine if your organization is not at the point where they know exactly what they want to do, but they do want to have coverage for the machines. There are companies, well, there's Charger Help that can do that for you, but just want to impart O&M, operations and maintenance, is going to be huge, and it's a huge way to create jobs, or upskill, or cross-train your current workforce. So with that, Michelle, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Yvette. I love your passion and energy. Thank you so much. I enjoyed your presentation. I did have a question, or maybe I guess a clarifying question for you. So are you training on, or does Charger Help train on the hardware, or do they also train on the software side as well?
So like 80% of the time when charging station goes down, it's the software, not the hardware. So our techs are fully trained on the software and fully trained on parts replacement. When it comes to electricity, that is electrician's job, and we know when to escalate it to the electrician. But if we're switching parts or doing a swap out, we can do that. So sometimes it's a lot easier just to swap out the machine than it is to fix the part or figure it out. And that we see that being very popular right now, because people want to make sure that the machines are working at all times. They're doing swap outs. But yes, our techs show up with computer, Cat5 cords, and we go at it, and we work directly with our customer, or whoever your manufacturer, our network provider is, to get the machine fixed.
Okay, great, thank you. So, and just for clarification, for all of our participants here, so Charger Help does work obviously on the charging stations and come out and troubleshoot any issues that a school district might be having.
Right.
Charger Help also can help train school district staff in troubleshooting for those charging stations.
So
correct?
Yes, we do have a training. It really depends. I mean, that's why that's an individual conversation. It really depends on like how many you have, what you have. Is it worth doing the training for your whole staff, or is it better just to get an O&M coverage, right? And for some districts, it will be a lot better to just do that. Yeah, and Charter Help is available in California, all over California, Northern California, Central California, and Southern California as well.
Okay, great. So in terms of training school district staff, that would be on a case-by-case requested basis. Charter Help doesn't have like reoccurring training sessions in different areas of the state or anything like that.
We don't have reoccurring trainings, just like open general that you could just send folks to. No, but you know, we have worked with some providers that they're like, hey, we love Charter Help, but we have our own team that we want to train and we want to use you all's platform, right? But you know, because our platform has all the things, right? So we want to use y'all's platform, but we want to really keep our team and really just get them cross-trained or trained up. And can we do that? And that's something that we've done in the beginning. So we're not like solely a training entity, but we do have that leg because some folks would prefer to just use our platform.
We have a few questions from the chat from Christine. Is Charter Help available in Eureka?
Yes. I mean, not like, I won't say like, hey, we're in Eureka, but if we are in that part of the world, if you're in California, we can get to you. We have over 7 techs in California, so that's no problem.
Great. This question's from Jeff. What do you see as the current O&M contract support available in rural counties that are several hours beyond California core city areas?
Yeah, I see a lot of parts only because nobody wants to promise labor, especially in rural areas. That's why you would have to make sure that you had an O&M contract and see what the SLA is and what the distance is. For us, some folks that we work with, the SLA is 2 days and we can go as far out as 3 hours. But again, your machines don't break every day. However, I think with a bus, you want to have a dedicated person, which is something that we're seeing utilities do. You know, utilities love all of our models, but they're like, we need someone we can call and they're going to come today and it's going to trump everybody because they got to really be responsible for some things. So we will look at a dedicated technician model or possibly training someone in your district and you use our platform.
Great. A question from Antonio. If they were to use Charter Help, what is the average response time? And they currently in Imperial County.
In Imperial County, is Imperial County like Fresno kind of area? Am I correct?
Antonio is located in El Centro.
Oh, in El Centro. I would say 2 days is probably the quickest SLA that I've seen. And yeah, a 2-day SLA. What was the other part of your question?
That was it, just the response time.
Yeah, I would say 2 days. We see between 2 and 7 days, depending on how many charters you have. If you have very few and this is like your sole one, then 2 days is a good SLA.
Okay, our next presentation is from Rudy LaFleur from the Sunline Transit West Coast Center of Excellence. Rudy, when you are ready, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, the Electric School Bus Working Group, for this opportunity. Sunline West Coast Center of Excellence is a idea that came out of the need for in-service management of many of these advanced technology assets that are being deployed. A little bit about Sunline Transit Agency. Sunline Transit Agency is at the forefront of technology implementation. In 2011, Sunline produced the first Buy America compliant fuel cell bus in the United States, and currently it operates one of the largest hydrogen electrolyzers in the country. So Sunline has some familiarity with the products and the technologies. And so what we did through grants with the FTA and others, we developed some training and some curriculum to be implemented for the industry's benefit. And we're working now with CalSTART and CARB to ensure that that training is available to school bus fleet operators also. Held outreach and workshops to listen to the industry to see what was needed. And we focused on incremental training, things that, for instance, the energy storage system and the propulsion system are the biggest difference in a number of the buses. The rest of it is bus stuff. You know, it's 90% of the same stuff that you'd have on different propulsion systems. And so we thought that this incremental training would be beneficial to the industry, and held outreach with the industry to make sure that we captured the needs and incorporated those into course outlines and training materials. So the vision was to provide training designated to ensure that current and future generations of transit professionals are prepared to successfully deploy zero emission projects. And we have endeavored to do that, and you'll see that captured in our training offerings and materials. We have put ourselves out as a resource for transit industry and transit operators, building on what we experienced, not what we, not the theoretical, but the real application that is associated with implementing both battery electric buses as well as hydrogen electric vehicles. And so we thought that would be a good opportunity to share those experiences with the industry in a learning environment. So we envision actually building brick and mortar West Coast Center of Excellence. Construction is estimated to start this year. And this will be the home for many of the training materials, but we thought also to have a place where we could accommodate a 60-foot articulated bus and have some training experiences there so that we could focus on two of our offerings, the safety and high voltage and the maintenance aspects of zero emission vehicles. And to make sure that we were in tune with the industry, we convened and have a advisory board with the membership you see here on the slide to make sure that what we were doing was consistent with what they would expect in terms of informed and equipped clientele, so that we can keep the vehicles and the infrastructure operating to support the overall mission of transit, and for that matter, school bus operators, is to make sure that we can operate and support our clients. So the modules that have been developed, zero emission bus introduction, just an introduction on what it means, basically two primary technologies, battery electric and hydrogen electric vehicles and infrastructure. ZEB operations, which is really important because with these technologies come some new realities about driving a bus, for that matter, with regenerative braking that can get certain ranges based on how you drive the bus, and understanding what the gauges mean and how to actually how to tow a bus back in. Is it towed in the same way? So those things are explored. We have safety and inspection with high voltages. I think that course just makes sense. And then ZEB maintenance. What we do is we bring out actual vehicles and we talk about maintenance of particular types of vehicles. And one of the things that we were funded to do in coordination with CalSTART is to incorporate school bus fleet operators. So the models and makes that are available to school bus operators will be considered for this maintenance training also. And we have some non-technical courses, leadership and employee engagement, which are important for organizations, financial and project management. It's oriented towards the range and some other differences that are associated with some of technological limitations that are in place with particularly battery electric buses. acquisition strategies and regulations, and zero emission deployment and planning. Those non-technical courses are offered to support the overall operations of zero emission fleets. These are oriented towards transit, but the technical course is something that we thought we would make sure that bus fleet operators were included in those and the types of vehicles that are available. So these are the technical trainings that were certified by the board. And what we want to do is make sure that this presentation today is a form of outreach to let folks know that we will be making this training available in different regions of California. And if your organization is in need of training, to make sure you reach out. It's something that is being funded through California Air Resources Board. And we are sub-recipient to CalSTART on this project. So it's something that's going to be made available. We think we wanted to present today to make sure that we made this group aware of the training that's going to be available. We haven't specified the locations yet, but reaching out will make sure that we communicate with people interested in the training. So we'll be launching this portable training. Courses will focus on transit vehicles, but will be transferable to operators of school bus fleets, and in some cases, limited stipends available for people who have to travel long distances to receive training at a centralized location, beneficial to the overall efficiency of the program. And so those are the immediate opportunities that are being discussed here today. We are in the process of modifying and refining the training to include school bus fleet operators and vehicles. And we will be launching our first training in August or September of this year. I forget exactly which one it is, but I think our target is September, but you know, we're shooting for August. And one thing that we've been asked to do is also include outreach for youth. So that'll be a separate offering where we will have a informational session focused on getting young people interested in the transit and the technologies associated with transit. And that's not just public transit, but it also include all transit. And so that's a course that's being revised now. It'll be part of the outreach. And I think we're trying to ensure that we have a supply of qualified technicians to maintain the technology of the future. And this outreach will be focused on that. And that is my presentation. Just wanted to make sure that this group was made aware of these trainings to be available in Northern, Central, and Southern California. And if you need any information, you can email me and this my phone number, and we have a website where we have the ability to communicate with the Center of Excellence. So thanks, Michelle, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rudy. One quick clarifying question from me. I know that you had mentioned in a different setting that and for the aspect of this program that provides outreach to high school students to increase engagement and interest in electric vehicles. You had mentioned previously that Sunline would maybe like to participate in any upcoming events that school districts have, like career days or events like that. So is that
Yes.
something where school districts that are on the call today could reach out to you if they have an event like that planned in the future and perhaps work with Sunline to coordinate that?
Thank you, Michelle. Absolutely. That that is what we're looking for. Is, if there's any sessions or events that we can be beneficial to sharing something about the technology that may interest the participants, then we look forward to those opportunities for sure. And if those opportunities available, just don't hesitate to reach out to myself, or Michelle will probably let me know if someone reaches out to her. So yeah, thank you for that. We're looking forward to those opportunities too.
Okay, great. And again, you said that the trainings would likely begin in September of this year, and then it sounds like Sunline plans to continue to offer those trainings for a duration of time, correct? So would there be?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just, in terms of the different focuses that you touched on for training opportunities, would there be multiple opportunities for each of those topics, or would it be
well, there'll be multiple opportunities for the training is currently contemplated to be remote. So we'll be offering the training in different locations, but it will be essentially the same training. However, of course, we will be improving based on feedback, but as we go along. And so, but it'd be essentially the same workshop offered in different locations. But, we will tailor things to accommodate the audience. And so that's something that we've contemplated also. But we do have a basic package of offerings that we think answer the mail in terms of what we're trying to achieve.
Thank you, Rudy, so much for joining us today. Very exciting that these opportunities are coming available soon, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did have some closing comments here. I wanted to touch base again for those of you that perhaps joined us late. The California Electric School Bus Working Group, our next tentative meeting date is September 7th, which is a Wednesday at 11 a.m. We are going to skip the months of July and August for the working group because we know school district staff are pretty hit and miss at that time, and hopefully you're off vacationing and enjoying yourselves. So we will reconvene this working group at the beginning of September, and there'll be outreach coming out to all of you ahead of that date. So in the interim, if you do want to engage in a working group and gather additional information, there is always the National Electric School Bus Working Group that is ran by a colleague of mine, Rachel Chard, and the topics covered in the National Working Group, obviously are not specific to California. However, are still applicable to electric school buses. So the next meeting topic will be the EPA Clean School Bus Program update, and they plan to have a private fleet partnership panel there to answer any questions that you have in terms of what that relationship looks like and how to participate in the EPA Clean School Bus Program. So the date for that, which actually is no longer tentative, is June 16th at 10 a.m. And my colleague Liza just dropped the registration link into the chat. So you're welcome to register for that link, or register for that working group. And then we'll see you all back in September for the California Electric School Bus Working Group. As always, you can always reach out to us at schoolbusteam@calstart.org. In the interim, if you have any questions related to anything that we do here at CalStart, and we'll make sure we get those questions answered for you.